Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. This is Zishan Isaac with Zishan on Air, and we will talk about some key topics that basically will keep everyone busy during this summer. And the summer will continue to get hotter because of some key decisions that are pending at the US Supreme Court with regards to this immigration issue and the birthright citizenship because of the class action lawsuits that have already been filed. So the immigration continues to be a key topic. But the fact of the matter is that at this time, as compared to previous administrations of Biden and even Obama, President Trump, in terms of numbers, have deported less people. Yes, it may be surprising to you. So there was a poll and a report by NBC where Americans are not happy in terms of these mass deportations, and even people who do not have violent criminal records, they're also getting deported because that was the main promise of the Trump administration, as reported. And then, with regards to Americans, there was an NBC poll where they mentioned that last year, even in February, it was 59% in terms of the approval of deportations. Then it dropped to 54%, and it's now sitting at 49%. So there's a 10% drop in terms of how the Americans' perceptions have changed. And there is a higher number of Americans looking for a comprehensive immigration reform or some type of comprehensive immigration process where the entire situation becomes better for those who may need legal pathway to US citizenship. So that's number one. And number two is with regards to this whole aspect of the numbers, the fact of the matter is that how optics has played differently in terms of Trump administration because children and families have been separated, and then how the raids have been conducted in many cities and states in the US. So that is the reason why we are seeing a lot of news, and a lot of Americans are upset in terms of how these raids have been conducted. And that's basically what the polls and the Americans are talking about. And at the same time, Axios has reported Trump administration sends migrants to Eswatini, which is obviously a country. They have changed their name to this country, to this name. And there are migrants from Cuba, Jamaica, Laos, Vietnam, and Yemen to the tiny African nation of Eswatini. On Tuesday, the Department of Homeland Security announced. The big picture, the deportation flights came after the US Supreme Court last month basically has allowed the administration to resume deportations of the migrants to third countries that were not their place of origin. And then this new safe haven African country in southern Africa has landed this spot as well. And also various countries, because of 8 men from Asia and Latin America who were at the center of the case, were deported to South Sudan earlier this month. So that's where that ruling came. So Axios has reported this. Acting Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement Director Todd Lyons said in a memo that such deportations could take place within 6 hours of notification in exigent circumstances. Washington Post first reported this week. However, Lyons said in the July 9th memo that ICE would typically wait 24 hours after informing people that they would be deported. So deportations are still continuing. Green card holder in the US of 40 years detained by ICE while walking dog. So this is an interesting case. Newsweek has reported this. Reza Zawar, 52, was apprehended by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents on June 28th, just outside his home in Maryland, and is currently being detained at a facility in Texas. And then he was sent to ICE Baltimore, and CPP arrested Reza Zawar, a criminal illegal alien from Iran. He was convicted of attempted possession of a controlled substance. So Zawar arrived in the US legally from Iran as a student at the age of 12, and now he faces deportation to a country gripped by instability and conflict. Zawar's mother, Firoz Abadi, told NBC4 Washington that only minutes after Zawar went out to walk his dog, Duke uniformed strangers appeared at her front door with a leash in hand. Zawar was sent to the US by his parents to pursue his education and later obtained a green card, NBC4 Washington reported. The rest of the family joined him in the US several years later. According to the family's attorneys, Zawar was charged with a misdemeanor for marijuana possession in the late 1990s. In 2004, he was stopped while re-entering the country, which initiated deportation proceedings. The attorney said the case was resolved in October 2007 when Zawar was granted a withholding of removal order to Iran, allowing him to remain in the US and continue working legally. So this is the story where his mother, Firoz Abadi, said, I heard the knock on the door, quote unquote, quote, I was shaking, unquote, Firoz Abadi told the outlet. And she further goes on to say, my brother was behind me, holding me, and a lot of questions were coming. But the first thing that came to my mind was that maybe a car hit him and he's on the floor. And that's why they brought him, Duke to me. That was the first thing that hit me. It was hard, unquote. That was his mother. She said that Zawar's family said he was initially taken to a facility in Baltimore for questioning before being transferred to a detention center in Texas, according to NBC4 Washington. So Bani Alavi, Reza Zawar's friend, told NBC4 Washington, quote, he's everyone's favorite bud. You know that guy that you can just rely on, trust on, unquote. So what happens next? Zawar's family told NBC4 Washington that the government has issued deportation orders to either Romania or Australia without providing any explanation. This was updated on July 18th around 3:15 a.m. Eastern Time. This article was updated with comment from DHS, Department of Homeland Security. So this story about Reza Zawar, 52, was apprehended by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agents on June 28, just outside his home in Maryland, and is currently being detained at a facility in Texas. And Newsweek reached out to Zawar's family and ICE for comment. Department of Homeland Security Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin told Newsweek, quote, on June 28, 2025, ICE Baltimore and CBP arrested Reza Zawar, a criminal illegal alien from Iran. He was convicted of attempted possession of a controlled substance. Federal immigration authorities, as being reported by Newsweek, and now this has become sort of an expectation now that federal immigration authorities continue to pursue deportations not only of undocumented immigrants, but also of former green card holders with past criminal records. And Trump is on defensive with regards to this news and this whole Epstein case following report he sent, quote, body, unquote, letter. Truth Social, that's the social media outlet where Trump posts different messages, and he basically talks about different issues as well and issues some statements. So Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump, he basically posted, or someone posted on his behalf, if there was a, quote, smoking gun, unquote, on Epstein, why didn't the Democrats who controlled the, quote, files, unquote, for 4 years and had Garland and Comey in charge use it? Because, and all in uppercase, because they had nothing, exclamation mark. So this is where this Epstein case is still in a lot of MAGA bases' mind, and they talked about it, and they are really, really, I would say, angry at this time that they were promised that the Epstein files and would be made public. The Wall Street Journal, Trump in recent days noted that he's unhappy with Putin. So this war with Putin and Zelensky continues. President Trump has provided some weapons to Ukraine, and let's see in the next 30 to 60 days, because he has given some time frame to Putin, but then let's see what happens. BBC has reported, quote, cautious calm, unquote, reported in southern Syria after a week of deadly travel clashes. And this is where a cautious calm after more than 1,000 people have been reported dead in Syria. And this is again with The Guardian. Trump, who campaigned on releasing FBI files relating to the notorious pedophile and whose Attorney General Pam Bondi said in February that she had Epstein's client list on her desk has come under scrutiny from his mega supporter base after the administration said it would not be releasing any further Epstein documents after all. So the Guardian has reported this. So this political storm is not going anywhere as I speak, and let's see what happens next week. The New York Times has reported fuel to Air India plane was cut off before deadly crash, report says. So very sad news, obviously, that we witnessed a few weeks ago, and now the focus on Boeing 787's fuel switches in a preliminary assessment raised questions about the pilot's actions, but much is still unknown about Flight 171. The New York Times have reported this. And on the world news, Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission, that's where Pakistan was discussed, ongoing political repression. That hearing and testimonies happened at the Rayburn House Office building on July 15th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And that hearing notice basically has laid out this case against the current government of Pakistan, and also the Chief of Army Staff, Asim Munir. And this is where this Human Rights Commission, people have to take this seriously, and this is how different countries they are put under notice. And this hearing notice was about the continued situation and the deteriorated situation in terms of freedom of speech, expression, and political people cannot even talk about politics, and even those who have their YouTube channels, about 30 of them have been put on notice and they would be banned. So very interesting situation, for lack of a better term. And witnesses, those who were there, will discuss the government of Pakistan's ongoing political repression, the U.S. response, and offer recommendations for Congress. So there is a Pakistan Democratic Act that has been introduced now, PDA, that will actually impose sanctions on Pakistan if that bill goes through Congress. But that bill has been introduced now. Zulfi Bukhari, advisor to Imran Khan on international affairs, international media, and he was the former PM assistant to Imran Khan, and he was also the state minister. He was given some portfolio. And then Jared Genser, he is the managing director of Perseus Strategies, and Sadiq Amini, founder of Afghanistan Impact Network, and Bill Linden, who is the advocacy director of Europe and Central Asia, Amnesty International. So they all have given their testimonies, and it's now have become part of the record. Hosted by Chris Smith, member of Congress, Chris Smith and James P. McGarn, member of Congress, both are member of Congress, and Chris Smith is the co-chair, TLJRC, which is the Human Rights Commission, and then co-chair James McGowan of this. So this is where I personally believe that the charges against Pakistan current government and its Chief of Army Staff are of a serious nature and warrant thorough investigation. A case has now been presented to the Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission in the United States, and the testimonies are deeply troubling. It is disheartening to witness how a nation as beautiful as Pakistan has deteriorated into such a troubling state of affairs. That's just my statement, and I've visited Pakistan previously, and I have friends and family from this country, and what a talented group of people. But unfortunately, how the governments and the governance structure as the aspirations of Pakistanis are not being represented at the state level, at the government level, and that's where any demise or downfall of a nation happens, because of bad governance, because of corruption, and because of lack of transparency in the democratic process. And unfortunately, all these check marks, which should not be a good check mark, that happens in the case of Pakistan, and we can only hope for the best, because the Pakistanis are very resilient people as well, and a lot of youth, they have a lot of aspirations for a brighter future, and many of them under the age of 30, that's out of that 250 million population, 60% of them are under the age of 30, according to the censuses that has taken place in the past 10 to 20 years and the very recent census. So most of them, majority of them, they all follow Imran Khan. So any kind of unnatural repression, because repression is always unnatural, and when you have unnatural force that is being used, you always lose in the long term. And this is where former Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, is still under confinement in jail for past 2 years. And that was the case that was laid out again. And the United Nations have already turned his jail sentence and his detention in jail for 2 years as illegal. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. With that, I would like to thank our key advertisers. And if you would like to be part of our, sponsorship program as well, because that's how we bring you the best, latest information as well as facts. And you will get hundreds and thousands of dedicated listening audience, not only through traditional media, but also because of social media on YouTube and Facebook, where Zishan On Air and myself, Zishan Ishaq, I have hundreds and thousands of people who follow me. Thank you to all those who are watching me live, and then they share. So this is where I would like to thank Affordable Insurance of Texas, AITinsurance.com. You can visit them on the web, AITinsurance.com, or you can call them 713-785-4000, 713-785-4000. And you can certainly get the best insurance quote for auto insurance, for homeowners insurance, for commercial insurance, for business insurance, for health insurance, you name it. And for all your auto insurance needs, contact 713-785-4000. There are many offices in Houston, Greater Houston, even in Texas, and all those who are watching me outside of Texas, you can connect with Affordable Insurance of Texas through AITinsurance.com. That's AIT, Affordable Insurance of Texas, and that's how AIT, that's what it stands for, AITinsurance.com, Affordable Insurance of Texas. And also, I would like to thank Roop Saudi Palace. Roop Saudi Palace, they're located at Hillcroft. Those of you who live in Houston, and go to the web, roopsaudi.com, for men's trendy outfits, for men's sherwanis, formal wear, for kurta, pajamas, and even a lot of regular daily wear, and even very trendy outfits. And for women, they have a lot of bridal collection and all those different types of collections. They have it. At the same time, for boys and girls, for toddlers, they also have a lot of variety and latest shipments. They arrive on a continuous basis, and at the same time, they have a lot of artificial jewelry for women, for girls, bangles, artificial jewelry, imitation jewelry, all these different types of jewelry that women, they love. So Roop Saudi Palace, thousands of square footage, and under one roof, one-stop shop, Roop Saudi Palace. So visit them and mention my name, Zishan Ishaq, Zishan On Air. You'll get some discounts as well. So with that, I would like to sign off and then continue this with the traditional media. Thank you.